Live. Here we go. Science of Getting Rich, Mastermind Invite. So, today I'm going to speak about the science of getting rich. We are going to start talking about this book tonight by Wallace D. Wattles. And I'm going to be brief, just a quick invite because I don't want to spoil the class that's happening really tonight. So, if you don't know me, my name is Kamal. I hang out on weekends like this, 1 hour a week, where we study different books. And this month, we're starting this amazing book. I'm going to give you a taste of it and how it happens. And if you're interested in learning about the science of getting rich, the science of growing, and getting some of that umula in your pocket, this is it. I've studied engineering for a long time and management positions, and I love this. I do it for fun, I do it as a hobby, and it's kind of nice to help other people. So we're building together a small community where we get together once a week and read different books. Now, it takes more than 1 week to read a book, and we just finished one of them called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. That was phenomenal. It took us almost 3 months, but we really dug deep into it. I'm going to give you a taste of that. But for tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, we are studying this one. Now, why this one, and why the science of getting rich? Well, there's a reason to the madness, right? I don't just pick any books. I pick some books that mean something. Now, this book came about when Wallace D. Wallace back in 1900s was really studying the philosophies of the century, studying the philosophies of money and how some people get rich and a lot of rich and some don't. Some work for generations and they don't. And if you don't believe me, just look around. You're either rich or poor. And if you're poor, if you look back, your parents are probably poor and your grandparents are probably poor. And that's the thing, it's generational. So what is the change that needs to happen now? You probably are more familiar with something like this one, The Secret. I got to know a bit about The Secret from this man, Bob Proctor, right? He talked about it a lot, and he was the main guy in this movie, The Secret, right? So I started studying with him to understand this, and I was like in a deep hole. It's like I was like down in the dungeon, and I needed help. And this man showed up, started reading and studying with him until I figured this stuff out. And once I figured it out, things started to change, different way of thinking. So that's why I like to study these books. Now, the movie The Secret is really based on the science of getting rich. That movie, 500 million people have seen it. And if you haven't seen it, if you haven't watched it, you're probably not from around, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just you have to see it. But it does talk about the law of attraction, which is missing a big piece, the law of vibration, which what we're going to get into. So this is your chance to actually study it with us. It will take a month, 2 months. I'm not sure. We go on our pace, 1 hour a week. People show up, and it's for free. So I'm not selling you anything. And we only allow decent people. We allow good people. We allow good friends. So we don't want anybody to be there. As a matter of fact, we demand everybody to be on camera. And you could only be off camera if I know you and if something is going on and for some reason you can't be. So you got to be available. You got to be there. You cannot be driving. And you got to be on camera because it's participative. It's a book club. It's a mastermind. When people get together to mastermind, you got to be able to see the other person. So we're doing this on Zoom, obviously, or some of the software that we use. So you cannot be, out in the boat somewhere, or you cannot be, So if you're going to be off camera, it's probably because I know you very well and I know who you are, your character, and then that's kind of fine. But it's preferably you're on camera. We need to know you. You have to be a good person, and you have to earn it every time. Yeah, you have to earn it. Like you're not going to just show up. And the way you earn it is by participating. So we take turns and we read, and everybody reads a chapter or a paragraph or two, and we move around. And it's pretty cool. So I'm going to give you a taste of how that works and of the previous book, but I'm going to speak a little bit tonight so that you can stick the point. 7:30 tonight, just a few hours from now, we're going to start this book. This is your chance to learn about the science of money. All right. The reason you're going to do that is because right now, if you're not earning money or you're not earning enough, you have a bug. You have a bug like this planted inside of you, and it's like a disease. It's like a worse than the coronavirus. And for you to get it out and start feeling the abundance and feeling the new you, you're gonna have to get rid of this bug. And there's no amount of medicine that's gonna do it for you. You're going to have to do this by yourself, but you can't do it alone, right? So what happens when you remove it? Well, once you remove it, I have a little thing here. You're going to install a new program. So that's the science of getting rich. It's like a new program that you will be able to use to create income. You'll be able to use to raise money, be better at work, be a better professional. So that's the thing. The reason most people are poor right now, especially in North America, I mean, and around the world, there's a lot of poor countries, but in North America, Canada and the US, if you're poor, it's because you don't understand money. You don't understand the science behind it. Andrew Carnegie and Henry Ford back in the 1900s, they've developed this whole thing, the school system, to go to school, get a job, pay taxes, so that we become like that. But if you want to break free and start doing some things, this is for you. And it's going to be amazing because we're going to have goals, and we're going to have people set goals together and work together to actually manifest some money and take some action. Now, you do have to take some action. It's not just showing up. All right. So this is not a get rich quick scheme. This is not a fluke that you're listening to this. This is for those who are serious and want to understand this. All right. Now, I've been studying this now for maybe 8 years. And I got to tell you, everything has changed. How I show up, how I look, what I do, where I work, how I talk, everything's changed. Financially, health, wealth, income, fitness, all of it. So if this is what you want, listen up, you're in for a treat. So I'm gonna have to put my glasses because the font is small. This is the original book. So here's what he said. This is Wallace D. Wallace, okay? This is his words, He said, this book is pragmatical, not philosophical. And remember, I don't want to spoil it because we're actually going to kick it off tonight. But this is like the preview for LinkedIn, for those who are listening, all my followers, to actually show up, LinkedIn and YouTube, because that's where we're streaming today. So it's not philosophical. So that means it's not just theories. It's a practical manual. It's a practical manual. I highlighted here in red. See that? Not a treatise upon theories. So it's not a collection of theories. It's intended for the men and women whose most pressing need is for money, who wish to get rich first and philosophize later. So this is the recipe. This is the book. Now, you either understand it or you don't. And the way you're going to understand it is by studying it, which is how we do it. We study, you get some mentorship, and then you get some accountability. So that's what you're going to start doing. So if you show up tonight for the study club, that's studying. It's for those who have so far found neither the time, the means, nor the opportunity to go deeply into the study of metaphysics. Now, you might not even understand what metaphysics, I barely still do, and I've been studying this for a while. It's a big word. Metaphysics is the science of getting rich, right? But who want results, and you're willing to take the conclusions of science as a basis for action. So I have 5 degrees, 3 into the engineering, 2 into the business world. And I got to tell you, once I hear things about science, technical, and it has to do with creation of money, the alerts go up. It's like, wow, I got to know this. I got to do that. And this is what you can do. So it's a practical manual. But the only way you're going to get it, so that you remove your bug out of your head, is to study. All right? Because right now we all have a bug. There's a bug. It's running you, and we need to put a new program. All right, so that's the number 1 and 2. Third, it's expected that the reader will take fundamental statements upon faith, just as he would take statements concerning the law of electrical action if they were promulgated by a Marconi or Edison. So it's a lot, right? Right away in the first 2-3 paragraphs, you can see we have to actually slow down to understand what he's talking about. This is not for the faint of heart. This is not for those who want it quickly. This is not for the skimmer reader. That's why it says here, you got to study, right? Then you're going to get some mentorship to really get it. I didn't get it for a long time, even though I had the degrees. I had to get, like I said, this guy, Bob, to help me. And he helped me. And now I'm grateful because I could do big things and I help others, So that's the thing. So what happens after? So once you get these ideas formulated, you can actually start setting a real goal to create the income that you want, setting a real goal to get the job that you want, setting a goal that you can be proud of, right? And the key is not to say, oh, I'm going to do this next year. No, you got to do it now, because then you're procrastinating, right? You got to stop waiting. And the key of the mastermind and club is to be together in a space that everybody's working on the same thing, right? So don't say you never get chances. Don't say you don't get lucky. You are getting lucky because you're listening to this and you're hearing it. And if you get into my world, you're going to get access to a whole lot of material. As a matter of fact, I give away so much for free that some people, when they reach out and they want to help me with my business, and they're like, oh man, you give away so much free, you should be charging. I said, I don't want to charge. I charge who I want to, who I want to work with. But for the most part, it's for free. So you can go in here and get access to the books, get access to the material. But your problem is going to be because you're not going to get it. You need help to get this bug out. And this is a beautiful thing. It's some kind of decoration, but I liked it because it looks like a virus, right? It looks like a thing that's inside. So we need to get it out and program you for the new you, right? So the idea is to get you all this material to make it easy for you. I like to make it easy. So that's kind of the plan. So welcome, and so glad that some of you are listening. And I can't see all the texts and all the messages, but I promise you, I will respond to them. I usually go back and do respond. So what I'm going to share with you next is what this book club would look like. All right, and it's going to be 5-6 minutes of video from the previous club that we just finished last week, and this way you'll get a taste of it. See if it's for you. Now, hear me out. If it's not for you, okay, if it's not for you, it's probably for somebody like you or for somebody that you think might need help. So just share it with them, send it to them, share the link. It's not going to cost you a penny. All right. We call that the boomerang effect. You ever heard that boomerang where you throw it out? You throw the boomerang out and then it comes back. So you might not need this now, but you might need it later. So connect, follow, share, send it to somebody that needs it. Okay. So let me share the screen. And I'm going to share with you what this looked like for the previous book, okay? For the previous book that we just finished. Now, why am I doing that? Well, I'm doing that so that you can get a flavor of what's it like to be in my world? What's it like to get access to all this material? What's it like to have content that I've paid I can't tell you how much I paid. A lot of I didn't even tell my wife, okay? She doesn't even know how much I paid. It's so much is ridiculous, but it's all good because it's made me a better person, made me a better boss, a better manager, a better owner, a better father, a better friend, a better colleague, all that, right? So it doesn't matter what happened in the past. You just start again. So this next video is going to be the summary kind of quickly so you can get a flavor of what this book club looked like, because I'm not going to spoil the action on the new book. I want you to come in at 7:30 tonight Eastern and see how it goes, see what it looks like, and be with us for a few weeks to go through it. And then you would understand it. Because like I said, the way is we study, you get some kind of mentorship from somebody, and then you get some accountability so that you can actually do the thing that you want to do, because most of us don't do it. All right, most of us are just waiting on the fence line. So let me see if I can hit play and listen to how comfortable the space is. And they're people just like you and I. They're executives, they're book writers, they're authors, they're accountants. I don't know, they come from all over the world. And the good thing is that LinkedIn here is allowing me to do that. And the software is pretty cool. So each other what we took. So since I didn't read, I'm going to share with you what I took out of it. And it's literally I love this chapter because it's almost summarizes everything that we've been reading. Right? We've been reading all these chapters. We've been applying some new habits. But even if you just take a little bit of it, like you don't have to do all, you have to do a little bit of it. I'm going to share my little screen here from the iPad. And right here, this first page, right? It's telling us, and he's telling us that we have this mechanism, right? He's telling us right here, we have this mechanism that is teleological. So that means it's going to go where you want it to go. So if you're here and you want to go there, you just have to direct it where you want it to go, right? So we already have it. And it's creative. So all you got to do, you got to give it a goal. You got to give it a nice goal, right? You supply the goal. That's you. Each one of us has to supply this goal and think of the end result. So He's telling us on this first page what we need to do. And all we have to do, ladies and gentlemen, is just do it. Okay. Now, I know you probably don't believe it. You probably think it's just another book. You're probably thinking this won't work for me. You probably have all kind of reasons, right? Let go of that. Let go of that past. Because, if Sheena just read, right? We have to change the picture. We have to change the view. If you keep bringing the past, it's going to be the same. So build this new picture that you want right here on the first page, right? And here at the bottom of it, it says, think in terms of possibilities, right? I mean, you supply the goal and you, the reason you're thinking about the goal should be a sign, an indication that you can do it and you can achieve it. Now, sometimes the goal is huge and it might be a big step for us to take. So we just have to make smaller steps to get to the goal. That's the only way we're going to get to this mountain. We got to take smaller steps. So it's okay, but have that big goal, have that thing that you want. I love this chapter. It's really, really cool. I want to mention one more point, and then we'll share from each and every one of you for 1 minute each or so. Let me see if I can go to my other page. Not this one. I think it's this one. Can everybody see my screen? I just changed it. Superior knowledge, inferior results.
Yes.
So if it was this easy, why isn't everybody succeeding, right? It all has to do with the results. You just have to look at your results. I just have to look at my results. If I'm not happy with my results, that means my new self-image, my new paradigm has not taken effect yet. I have superior knowledge, inferior results. I just want better results. I want more money, more health, more wealth, more joy, more happiness, whatever it is we want, right? We want more results. So we get all this information, we get all these books, we get all these courses. We go to school, like I had 5 degrees. It didn't matter until I sat down on a session with Bob, a couple of meetings, some really interesting material, and he explained this to me. And he said, Kamal, all this information that you have is just in your conscious mind. Intellectually, it's available, it's just there. But there's a program that's stuck here. And some people, I was talking about that with Gary earlier in the week, and maybe even today, we end up going back to where are we programmed before. So even though you might have had some success for a while, but then you can lose it because the program is there. The program never goes away. So what we have to do in this self-image, in this psycho-cybernetics, is build a new model. You got to build a new one. And this new one, in this chapter, all of you read, you got to get into the feeling of what it feels like. What does it feel like to be successful? What does it feel like to be beautiful? What does it feel like to be a legend? What does it feel like to be speaking on stage? Get into that feeling, he said all the time, because even though it's subconscious mind, it might as well be called the feeling mind. So this is what we need to do. We need to build this new image. This new image is going to tell the body what to do to get the new results. Otherwise, you're going to be reading one book after another book, after another book, after another book, and nothing will happen. You have to take this new idea that you want, this new idea, think about it, and you have to put it in here and program it. You have to program it. You have to program it in, right? So if I go to my notes here, let me do it even easier. So we have to set this idea. You have to set the idea. Set the idea. That's the goal. You have to set the goal. And then you got to program the goal. Okay, then you want to implant the goal in your subconscious. You have to say, like, this is what I want, and you got to think about it all the time. So you have a goal, you got to program it in, you got to implant it in, and then you got to say no to everything else. You can't have a different goal every day. You got to decide, do you want money? Do you want a job? Do you want this? You got to have one goal and just go after that one goal. So you set the goal, you program it in, and you start thinking about it, thinking about it, thinking about it, thinking about it. This is the repetition part. If you don't repeat it over and over and over and over, it's not going to stick. If you don't repeat it, it will not be in here. It will not be in your subconscious. It will just be in your conscious. If you don't repeat this goal again and again, it won't grow. You have to keep repeating it. Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. And then You get into the feelings of it, which will give the body what to do to get the results that you want. Health, wealth, whatever it is. It's not a one-time deal. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not about degrees. It's not about, you already have everything you need. You just have to fall in love with it and start feeling what you want. And he gave us a lot of examples. And that's the thing. When I figured out I had 5 degrees, I wasn't getting what I want. Then I met Bob, studied with him, the audio, the video, and the lecture on self-image, including this book. And then I started to shift. Then I started to take my income from 1 time to 3 time, my investments from 1 time to 5 time, going on stages. So what it is that you want, right? I took that material and I studied it. And that's the thing, that stuff is available. So this is how you have to think of yourself, what are your results now? And where do you want to go? And fall in love with it. So that's kind of my take on this chapter. It almost summarizes everything, the first 7 lessons that I usually coach. And, I just gave you 5 minutes of it. So let's, so that was kind of how we finished that book. And then everybody shared for a minute or two and we took their take. It's pretty cool. Very low key environment. And you want access to all what I have, it's right here on the screen. But I want you to know that just set the goal, right? Set the goal, fall in love with it, and start taking action. Set the goal, fall in love with it, take action. Now, most people do that and they don't get anywhere because that bug that I showed you earlier is still there. That disease is there. And the only way to get this thing out and put a new program in is by studying. So you're going to have to study. You're going to have to get some mentorship. Everything you've done, all the degrees, all the qualification, all the education got you where you're at. If you're trying, hopefully you're trying your best, because I only work with those who are trying their best. I don't work with, lethargic people who are not doing anything and expecting results. No, you have to be working. You have to be actually attempting to do something. Otherwise, I'm not for you. And the reason I like this next book is, look what he said. He said, there's science here, and applied is an exact science. Science is exact. Like if I drop this pen, pencil, it's going to drop because gravity is going to take it down. So this is science. This is what he's going to teach us here. The second thing is failure is impossible. I mean, it's highlighted here. Failure is impossible. And it's going to benefit you if you actually do perform, if you actually do go through it. The next thing that I like about this book, he said, in writing this book, I have sacrificed all other considerations to plainness and simplicity of style. And you probably noticed, for those who get into my material and start reading it, listening to it, and doing all that, they find it's plain and it's quick. And because I didn't want to make it complicated, I want to make it simple, right? Some of my material now is being listened to by thousands of people. Like there's, one section of my book is being listened to by 130,000 people. I am just so amazing, grateful, because this is what came about from this. And I'm going to share that with you tonight for the next several months. So take advantage of this and just join. It's not going to cost you a thing other than show up, be on camera, be nice, be kind. We don't like bad people. We only good people, professionals, executives, moms and dads, and those who really want to become somebody in the world. All right, that's the idea. So every time you come in, you're going to have to earn the second time, because if you just show up to take, it doesn't going to work. That's why it's called a mastermind. In a mastermind, you show up to give, not to take. So that's the thing. All right, study, elite level mentorship, and accountability. And you set that goal, and guess what? You got to stop waiting. And this is what's going to make it really, really easy for you. All right. I could not make it any easier. I wish somebody had showed me this 30 years ago. And whatever, for whatever reason, it didn't happen, even though the material has been around. This thing has been around since 1910. But nobody understands it by themselves. Right? Nobody understands it. And when I needed the help, I was like stuck. I was in this dark hole. And everything was just happening, crashing, one thing after the other. Businesses, taxes, tariffs. And I needed help. And I was in this dark place. And then suddenly I started thinking. I started connecting with people that, could help me, want to help me. But who would you go with? There's thousands of them out there. I mean, look on LinkedIn. There's thousands of coaches. Everybody wants to be a coach. And most of them are broke. So you got to be careful where you go. But I'm grateful that I ended up meeting this guy. And the second part, that I actually took the courage enough to invest and study with him so he can teach me this stuff, so he can get me out. And he kind of put this ladder for me, and I climbed the ladder. Trust me, you're going to have to do the work. It's not hard work, but it's work. Okay? It's not hard work, but it's work. So you have to be willing to put the effort. And most of the people that I help one-on-one, when I have conversation on WhatsApp or on the phone, they're serious people, because I'm a serious guy. And I climbed the ladder, and then it helped me. Then I started seeing results. Then Bob said, why don't you charge for these lessons that you're doing by yourself for people? And then that's how it happened. So now people can access the stuff that I have, and people are doing it, and it's great because I'm helping people. I'm going to finish with this one story as to why I'm doing this. So about 6 months ago, somebody reached out to me on the phone, on WhatsApp, which is the group where we use to kind of communicate and stuff. So she reached out. She goes, "Hi, I'd like to speak with you." And I look at the phone, look at that, and like, okay, what is this about? Who's this? And she goes, "I really, really need to talk to you." I'm like, "Okay, why?" Right? Everybody's busy. I'm busy. And she's like, "Well, because you've saved my life." I was like, "Are you serious?" This was like a little bit before Christmas, so maybe October, November time. I said, "I saved your life. How did I save your life?" So we ended up getting on a call, and I got to know her a little bit. She goes, "Yeah, I've been following your stuff on YouTube and on LinkedIn, and really, I was in a very dark place." She's out of Nigeria. She's been following my stuff, reading my stuff, applying the stuff, because reading it is not good enough. And I was in a dark place, and she was actually going to take her life out. Her relationship with her man was not going very well. She was being abused, and she didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And she said, at some point when she was about to do whatever she wanted to do, she remembered one of my videos, and she listened to it again, and she snapped out of it. And then she started really getting serious about the lessons, getting serious about the studying, the mentorship, the accountability, study, mentorship, accountability. She followed what I have online. I didn't even speak to her. I didn't even know she was in my ecosystem. She goes, "Your stuff saved my life." And that's why I'm doing this. Because you never know who needs this. You never know who's going to get helped. It's pretty exciting, right? And scary at the same time, because this lady, I don't know what she would have done. Just because I put some stuff on YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook. And she's still in the ecosystem, but we don't talk. I gave her more information. I gave her more access, because I was just like almost in tears as to what really has happened. And I didn't even know about it. So that's kind of that. Let's finish with tonight. We will start with this book, The Science of Getting Rich. We're going to go through it chapter by chapter. It's your chance to get some really high-end information in a group at a fraction of a cost. Like it's not going to cost you a thing, right? It's just going to be, you show up and be there. And if you're kind and polite and you just do your thing, read the stuff, it's all good. You're going to be welcomed again. That's the idea. I want to be able to help you. So to do that, just connect with me, and somewhere here on the LinkedIn platform or whatever this is going to eventually, because this will be on Facebook and YouTube and everywhere. Just reach out. Once you're in the ecosystem, you'll get the email and you'll start getting the invites. All right, cool. Science of Getting Rich, Wallace D. Wattles. This is the book that the movie The Secret is based on. So imagine that when you understand it, how easy it's going to be for you to program yourself on this new level of success. Wish you the best. Have an amazing Sunday. I look forward to meeting some new people tonight. It's always a surprise. I never know how many are coming. There's 7 or 8 that are consistent, but then sometimes there's 3 or 4 that escape here and there. And I get it. Family stuff happens, and all good, and everybody's life is important to them. It's all good. No judgment. So wish you the best. Have an amazing Sunday, and we'll talk soon. Science of Getting Rich. And it is a science. There is a science to getting rich. And if you think you can just do this by yourself, think again. Because if you could have done it, you would have done it. If you could have done it, you would have done it. And what you don't fix in yourself, you pass on to your kids. What you don't fix in yourself, you pass on to your kids. So if you have one of these bugs like I have, and I had, and I'm getting it out, I'm putting in a new program in, that's the only way, ladies and gentlemen. I want to help you get this bug out and put this new program in so that you can be on your way. All right, that's what we're doing. So welcome to my world. Thanks and have a good night. See you at 7:30 p.m.